Okay, in this lecture, I will discuss the structure of traditional input-output table. So, as I already mentioned that the traditional input-output table is also an accounting framework basically. So, which include credit and debit. So, you can see that this Z table is the intermediate consumption matrix. Intermediate consumption matrix means these are the different sector or different industries in the rows and the columns. For example, one is the agriculture sector. So, this is also agriculture sector. So, agriculture sector sell some unit of agriculture product to itself. It means agriculture also would be able to use some of its own product. Similarly, if second is the steel product, so steel will sell some product to agriculture, steel will sell out some product to steel itself, because steel industry also needs some steel. For example, in automobile industry, so automobile also needs some automobile, they need some trucks, some motor cars, etc., etc., for their supply and for the other purposes. So basically these sectors, for example, this is agriculture, it will sell out to 1, it will sell out to 2, it will sell out to 3, and some it will also sell out to the final consumer. Final consumer are whom? The household, the government, the export. When you add all this, it will give us the total output of agriculture sector. So basically these rows represent the output of these sectors when they sell out. And basically these sectors, the agriculture consumes some parts from the agriculture itself. It also consumes some part from the let's suppose the metal industry, from the construction industry. So basically these column represent what? First column is the number of unit consumed by, let's suppose, agriculture industry from other industries. So mean agriculture consumed from 1, agriculture consumed from 2, agriculture consumed from 3, from 4. Okay, and basically this is the primary input including import. So it's also because while producing they also need some imported product. They also need something which will not be available in the specific country boundary, so they will import that product from the other economies. And it will also be included the value added, the labor, salaries, etc., etc., transport margin. So when you add all this, it will be the total input. The input required in order to produce the specific product. Okay, and these are basically the specific industries which providing their product to these sectors in order to complete their production, in order to produce this total output. So this will be the total output. So the sum of this table, the input of the first, let's suppose the agriculture input is 23, so the output of agriculture will also be 23. So this is called a symmetric input output table. So in order to further extend, I am just going to discuss a very simple example. This example which I take from the Miller and Beer book, the Input Output Analysis, Foundation and Extension, which is the second edition. So this is just a very basic example. This is just a hypothetical example of two industries. Let's suppose in an economy we have only two industries. One is agriculture and the second is construction. So this is agriculture and this is construction. So agriculture sell 150 unit to agriculture sell 500 unit to construction industry, and agriculture sell out 350 unit to the final end customer, final end household, the export, the government. So this is the total output, because this is the amount which agriculture sell to the other. And the column showing what? Mean agriculture consume 150 unit from agriculture, the unit consumed by the construction 200 units, payment sector, so mean the labor which they providing, the salary, the value added, the import, etc., because while producing they also need some imported. So when you add this, it will be 1000. When you add this, it will be 1000. Similarly, when you add this, it will be 2000, and when you add this, it will be 2000. Okay, and this is the payment sector. So I will show you that how we will calculate the coefficient matrix, which is also called A matrix. So how we will calculate A matrix? So basically this is our Z matrix. Z matrix 150, 500, 200 and 100. So this is intermediate consumption matrix. The total output is 1000 and 2000, because we have two sectors in an economy, 1000 and 200. Okay, and the final demand is, this is final demand, 350 and 1700. Or we can write this Aij is equal to Xij by Xj. So what is this? This is X11. X11 mean 1 providing to whom? To sector 1. So agriculture provide these 150 amounts. So mean basically this is a monetary table. Monetary table mean, for example, it providing 150 kg of, let's suppose, wheat. So we will convert that into the monetary unit. So 150 kg of wheat worth is 150 US dollar, let's suppose. So 1 providing to 1. 1 basically providing, this is 1 providing to 2. So 1 providing to 2. Okay. Similarly, X21, how we will read this? X2, sector 2, which is construction industry, will be providing 1. So agriculture sector need to consume 200 units from the construction industry. So 2 providing to 1 and 2 providing to itself. So this is 100. Now we want to calculate this. So how we will calculate? So particular row, this is the row first, this is the second row. So particular row is the number of unit sold by one industry. Let's suppose the first row, we talking about the first row. So this first row is the number of units sold by agriculture industry to 150 and agriculture industry sold to construction industry, which is 2. And particular column, so this is particular column, this one, the particular column is the total number of unit consumed by industry 1. So it consumed 150 from 1, it consumed 200 from 2. Okay. So per unit worth of output, how we will calculate per unit of worth of output? So X11. So let's suppose X11 is X11 is 150. So X11 mean that output of steel industry, the total output of steel industry 1 providing to 1, and the total output of steel industry is 1000. Let's suppose 1000 is the monetary worth, mean they producing $1000 of stuff. So now we want to calculate per unit worth of output. So per unit worth of output will be 1 and the first industry, the agriculture industry, per unit of 1000. So 1000, 150 divided by 1000. So when you divide this, it will be 0.15. 0.15. So basically this is the per unit of output. In order to produce 1 unit, this will be the worth of that 1 unit. So this is also called per unit worth of output. This will be the per unit worth of output. If agriculture industry produce 1 product, so this will be the per unit worth of output, 0.15. So basically agriculture industry consume from other industries, it's also consumed from its own, it's also consumed from the other industry in order to produce 1000 unit of $1000 of product. If it's sell to X1, they need to consume from other. If the consumption of sector 2, this is called basically the per unit worth of output. Now we want to calculate coefficient matrix. So coefficient matrix is basically we normally denote with A11, A12, A21 and A22. And what is Aij basically? Aij, I have already write this Aij, Xij. So now we want to calculate. So A11, how we will calculate this? 150, this 150 or this 150 divided by, so this is X11 divided by X1. X11 is the 150 because agriculture sold to agriculture industry 150 unit, 150 amount of product. So 150 divided by, and the total output of this agriculture industry is 1000. So this is basically, it will give us 0.15, which you already tried, 0.1 unit per unit worth output. Okay. Similarly for A12 is 500. So 500 divided by, we can also A12 X12 by X2, because 1 providing to whom? To 2, to industry 2. And what is the total output of industry 2? Industry 2 is construction industry. So this is 2000. So we will divide with the 2000. So A12 will be 0.25. Similarly, A21, it's mean 2 providing to industry 1. So it will be X21 and 2 to industry 2 providing to 1. And what is the total output of 1? So we will write this A21 200. So 1 is 200 divided by, and the total output of 1 is 1000. So divided by 1000. So this will be 0.2. 0.2 is the unit worth of output per output. Okay. Similarly, we can also calculate this A22. A22 is X22 and 2 providing to 2. 2 providing itself. And what is the total output of 2? So you need to have a look this one. X2. 2. So this is 100 divided by, and the total output of industry 2 is 2000, sorry. So this will be equal to 0.05. So basically, when we put all these values, this will be our technical coefficient matrix. So now you need to write the A11 value, which is 0.15, A12, A11, A12 is 0.25, A21, so A21 is 0.2, and A22 is 0.05. So at this way you will calculate the technical coefficient matrix. So this is also called direct input coefficient matrix. So in the trivial algebra, it presents the operational form in which the technical coefficient are used in input-output analysis. Once a set of observation has given us a result, for example, Z or A12, let's suppose A12 is 0.25. So these results, we can interpret this technical coefficient is assumed to be unchanging, in sense that if one asked how much sector 2 would buy from sector 1, if sector 2 were to produce a total output, let's suppose the total output of sector 2, if I write this X2 just generally, change to 45,000, let's suppose 45,000. So the input output answer would be 012 will be A12 X2, A12 X2. And how you will calculate A12? So we have already calculated A12, which is 0.25 into X2. X2 is 45,000. This is our new, let's suppose, target. Okay, so 45,000. So it will be 11,250. 11,250. When output of sector 2 is tripled, the input from sector 1 is tripled. So basically this showing when the output of sector 2 is tripled, the input from sector 1 is tripled. The Aij basically are viewed as measuring. So this Aij, the technical coefficient is viewed as measuring fixed relationship between a sector output and its input.